Wow, did you see that Giants-Brewers game? Oh, too soon? Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, Chris the Bammer on the River Region Straw chat line already bringing it up this morning. Wow.
There's no way. Chris the Bammer dictating the path of this program, telling us when to take breaks and stuff. Hey, as if. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. You'll notice a couple of things that are immediately incongruous. Number one, John opens with baseball. Number two, he's got an Auburn logo right behind his right ear.
Why did it take people so long to notice that? I switch them around. I got several footballs. And let me get this right. Over this shoulder is Derrick Henry's Sports Illustrated cover. So I thought I needed to put move my Auburn ball into the screen.
Sports Illustrated.
Can I pan that over where you can see Derrick? Yeah, see, I got some Sports Illustrated covers from. Do they still make Sports Illustrated anymore?
I've got one, but it's one with the cover with my brother had a story on there. But,
Barry, I think that bottom picture's a little crooked. I need to fix that during the next break now that I look at it. But anyway.
Now.
So I thought I'd, see, there's my Bama ball. See, I got a Bama football. I got an Auburn football.
Off screen. Come on now. Yeah.
That's my Familiar Bowl football. So, So how about, should I leave the screen like that so you can see them both?
Oh, no, let's not. Let's not. Let's keep you centered. It's a difficult enough time keeping John centered. Yeah. Anyway, because he moves around all the time.
There we go.
We'll talk about this a little bit later on, but the Giants-Brewers game was a late game?
No, 5:40.
Well, late.
No, 2:40. Excuse me, 2:40 local time.
Okay, yeah. Well, it started early and it ended early. More on that later.
Don't want to.
So,
but I love how Chris says, "Hey, I wonder how the Phantom performed right after that." Here's an idea: when the Phantom doesn't perform well, he'll plead the fifth. That's pretty good, Chris.
That's not bad. But Chris will have about 8 or 9 chats.
Yep.
That I have no idea what he's talking about. Why he says belly? Why he's I don't know. He may tap it in and chuckle to himself. But we do have stuff.
I do think the belly is the Bush Light commercial.
But why? I get that, but why do you say that, Chris? Why is that? I don't.
Some people are amused in different ways, I guess.
Yes, I suppose so. We are looking right now at the calendar.
Yeah,
it is 30 days. Has September, April. It is the next to last day of July.
Man, no kidding.
Tomorrow, we will close out on the last day of the month, July, at Stivers Ford.
Hint, hint.
And
last day of the month. Hint, hint. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to buy a car, last day of the month's a great day to do it. More on that later.
Couple of things to point out to you with this date. I don't just say the date just to, say it or whatever, but 1 week from today, there is actual live, semi-serious college football. I mean, a pro football.
Yep.
It's the Hall of Fame game next Thursday.
Oh, beautiful.
The Panthers versus the Cardinals.
Oh.
NBC. Yeah. But it counts, man. It counts. Well, you say that. It's NBC. It's August the 6th. It's next Thursday. We are 1 week away from some semblance of professional or college football. Panthers, Cardinals, I don't care. I'll take it. But also, a little bit less than a month away. Technically, it is 4 weeks away. It's Thursday, August the 27th. Which is 4 weeks, but it's not a full calendar month. Go figure.
Yeah.
There's college football. Gardner-Webb at Austin P. Warren and I made a good bit out of that. Gardner-Webb and Austin P. Neither of which school John can tell where they're located. But again, it's like Panthers Cardinals. I don't care. Is it on ESPN Plus? Yes.
Oh.
But
I got to check my subscription and make sure it's still up to date.
It's college football.
Who is Austin P playing?
Gardner-Webb.
All right.
Gardner Webb and Austin Peay sounds like two guys in the frat who are, just there. They just show up for the meetings.
Man, Gardner Webb's family's got this great plantation down there in South Georgia. Man, we got to go there this week.
We got to get him. He's definitely a pledge. Yeah, you got to get him. He got that. So
if I'm looking at this correct, Austin Peay will have a warm-up game before they tangle with Vanderbilt on September the 5th. That doesn't seem fair.
Oh, yeah.
Austin Peay's going to have a game under their belt before they have to tussle with the Commodores.
Yeah, that's Gardner Webb. And Gardner Webb's not the only game, but it's a game. It's a little bit more, well, not even that much. Northwestern of Iowa against Western Illinois that day and all. All I'm saying is that here we are, you and me. Look at this.
Yep.
We've got pro football in a week. We've got college football in a month.
World
Preseason
Series in 3 months.
We got camp starting, preseason camp starting next week, just about everywhere.
Yeah.
We need to get started with our tour around the SEC coming up soon because it's getting to be a little bit serious now. We're on the long dry summer is just about over with, and I am here for it.
Yeah, we saw. I was talking to our buddy Brett Norsworthy down at Tampa. He covers Ole Miss.
Yep, he's Memphis.
I love talking with him. We'll touch base with him and all of our other operatives in the field that cover individual schools for the SEC. So we're looking forward to that. We usually do that in August when fall camps roll around and get a taste from what all these other schools are up to. Obviously, Barry, should I take it the Braves won last night based on John from Wetumpka's River Region Straw chat here on our chat line today?
Good news, bad news. They split.
Oh, okay.
The first game of that twilight doubleheader, the Braves win it 1-0.
Does twilight mean there were two games that were played at night?
No, it's not a doubleheader technically because, they didn't play one game right after the other. At least I don't think they did. Braves win the first game, beating the Mets 1-0. That's the one Chris Sale was terrific in there. A 1-0 game. John's on the edge of his seat on that one. But in the second game, the Mets win it 3-2. 18 innings of baseball and 6 runs. 36 half innings. 6 runs.
You win that first game, you're going, okay, man, won that first one, making up some ground, boom. Lose the second one, you kind of look at each other and go, why'd we show up today? Nothing has happened today.
No. What they're thinking is, that could not be further from the truth. What they're thinking is, wasn't this great? Man, we got to play 2 games today. This is awesome. Golly, I wish we could play 2 games tomorrow. We only have 1.
Can I get a show of hands of how many people think that way? I'm thinking,
heck, yeah. Even John playing 36.
Yeah.
John's like,
I can't remember the last. Well, when I go to California with my buddies, we try to play as much as we can. But man, around here, it's been a minute. I used to do it when I was younger a lot. I'd play all day. But man, in this heat right now, it's hard to get 18 in when it's this hot.
If we lived in Maine, or something,
well, I wouldn't live up there, but I know what you mean.
It is,
it's pretty rough.
You go out yesterday, and I'm just walking from my car to the field house at Troy, and you're drenched in sweat.
Barry, with this time of year, you got to have about 5 or 6 gloves on your bag because they're going to get wet. You're going to perspire, so your gloves soaking wet. So you got to take that one off, let it dry, put another one on. So you're rotating through about 5 or 6 golf gloves in a round. You can't have enough towels to wipe your head off and your forehead and your brow. And, you got to have a lot of water and all that other kind of stuff. So it's, you got to really want to go. And I do. I've certainly played in this type of weather. But be careful out there. These people that are running and, this big time exercise, be careful out there.
The hottest I've ever run in was 98. Woo. One time I ran 7 miles in 98-degree heat, thought I was going to die. But you feel bad about At this time of the year?
Yep.
We're compassionate people. John and I both care about our fellow man. You hate it for fat people, right?
Yeah.
You hate it for fat people golfers. That's one of the reasons why I respected so much Colin Montgomery and Craig Stadler.
Sure.
And those fat golfers.
Sure.
Because you got to practice a lot to be at that level. You've got to put in the work. You got to practice a lot. You got to play a lot. Fat guys have to, fat guys who are good golfers, you got to play in the heat in the summer. And that ain't easy, man. What do you guys do? Do you bring 3 shirts?
Well, it's funny you bring that up.
Do you change at the turn?
Yeah.
Do you just strip the shirt off, wring it out, throw it in the back, and bring out another one? What's the protocol there?
Yeah, I've known people that do. They make the turn. They're changing shirts. I've never been a shirt changer. I can play 18 or more, emergency 3 if needed, in the same shirt. Now, I will say, like my hats, I'll get a ring around them because, for some reason, as I've gotten older, my forehead perspires more. I guess I don't have enough hair to soak up the sweat as like I used to.
No,
I had that big boofy fro and stuff, but I don't know.
The other thing is, and I got scolded the other day from some Canadian friends of mine by using the word hefty during the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
They make garbage bags? What's so bad about that?
This was a small H, hefty.
Oh.
There was a female softball player, the picture, and I didn't say she was fat. I said she was hefty.
Hefty. Big boned, Barry. You should say big boned.
So I'm going to go on that tangent here for just a little bit. In the ticket buying, right across from my office at Troy is one of the ticket offices, where the group tickets are being sold. And, you get the tickets, you go to StubHub, you get secondary market tickets. They'll give you a schematic of the stadium.
Yeah.
You've done it before with concerts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And you look up there, section AA, upper deck, 20-yard line. How many? We can get 4 together up there. How much on a... You sit over there with the people, in the office across from me, and you say, well, let me take a look. Well, over here, you've got this. The question you need to ask, particularly if you're getting September games, is, can you show me what the fat people are? Okay, am I going to be on the aisle? Great. Yeah. I want to be on the aisle, easy access. Am I on the front row? I don't want to be on the very front row because people are walking in front of you and you can't see when you're down there. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just about to pull the trigger on this. Have I got a big, fat, sweaty guy in the season ticket seat next to me? I'm sorry. That guy's had those seats for about 25 years and he never misses a game. How much does he weigh? 315. I'm out.
It never sits down.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm with you. You get there to the game and you're going, yeah. And I've noticed the lower the closer you sit to the field, the more likely you're to stand up the entire game. Concert tickets are big too. I'm real picky about where I'm going to sit for a concert. Don't want to be on the floor. Don't want to be on the front row. Don't want to be sandwiched up against the railing so I can get like a guitar pick or something. I could care less, but I do want to make sure I got a good angle.
Now, you are at Jordan-Hare for the first time. Technically, they got a home game to open the season, but it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Let's just say you're playing at Jordan-Hare. This is let's see. Let's move ahead just a little bit. Let's just say you've got Southern Miss. First real home game. Now, it's a night game.
Yeah, week 2.
But you're going to be there, it's going to be hot. Week 2, September 14th, Jordan-Hare Stadium. You get in there with the family, you're excited and everything. You go down there, you take a look at your tickets, and there's big fat guy sitting next
big
to you.
Boy. Yeah, he's right there. Got his body get a T-shirt on.
And you're thinking, I got 6 more like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's active. He's sitting there, he's wearing the shorts that are one size too small, so when he leans forward, you can see.
Barry, that's why that 60-inch flat screen's getting more and more attractive. Because I ain't got to put up with big boy anymore.
I know. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, I see you working here, Joe.
Yeah, we're talking about if you're fat, do you change and it's hot? You sweat more. Fat people sweat more.
Yeah.
Do you change shirts at the turn? Joe says, yes, we do, Barry. Dry underwear are much more important to change at the turn. Baby powder or Gold Bond? That's in all caps. Now you're going to get John going on this subject here.
Joe, the Gold Bond spray. The spray is really, really good. But, Joe, I wasn't going to bring this up so early in the morning, but since you did, you got to go no underwear. Just go commando.
There's no way.
Yeah.
We
go
live
commando.
in a civilized
I do it all the time.
society. We've got laws. We've got rules.
Yeah. It's much more comfortable. Every now and then you get a little breeze. It's just you don't want the constriction, the tightness, the extra perspiration. Just go commando, Joe. I'm telling you, you'll thank me later. It's the best way to go.
That's absolutely unspeakably wrong.
Doing it right now, as a matter of fact. So,
way too much information. Way too much.
Hey, my man Ted, he's on it 100% with the thumbs up. You know what I'm talking about, Ted.
Oh, no, that's gross. That is gross.
Gross.
Plainsman Preston says, how about when Big Boy sits next to you on a plane?
Oh, with the seatbelt extender.
Yeah.
Remember the line? Well, I'm not going to repeat it, but there was a great line in the movie North Dallas 40 when one of the characters says, that's gross, man. And I think it was who played the quarterback? Who was
Mac Davis? No,
Mac Davis goes, gross. Yeah. That ain't gross. Let me tell you what gross is. And he explains to the guy what gross is.
Yeah, and it was gross. It was gross. So my apologies to Gary and Cindy and Becky and all those people. That's all I've got for fat people today. So,
hey, Barry, at the bottom of this hour, Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247, going to join us. Looking forward to getting Jason's take on what's been happening. Rodney Orr, the Tighter Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, will join us at the top of hour number 2.
We're underway. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light! Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here! Oh, Bud Light there! I missed that because of you! You did not miss that play because of me! Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah! It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind! Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 19 minutes past the hour. Glad you're with us here today on the program. Hey, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Very important. Really helps us out. We greatly appreciate everybody hitting the like and hitting the subscribe button. You'll never miss anything. And the instant notifications of everything we're doing here on Longshore and McKnight. Certainly, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, X, Instagram, iTunes, Yellowhammer News, and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out on the Yellowhammer Facebook page. We really appreciate that. So, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate that. Barry, Big Ten Media Day is going on in Chicago. One thing that's really kind of always bothered me a little bit, it seems to be bothering me a little bit more lately, not only this high and mighty Big Ten stuff, and, I get it. They've won the last 3 national titles. We talked about Texas and Oklahoma playing some Big Ten big boys in Ohio State and Michigan early in the season, which would certainly quiet things down a little bit. But, Greg Sankey was really adamant about the SEC continuing to play a big-time non-conference opponent along with 9 conference games. I believe the big-time non-conference game really was started with the previous commissioner of the league. And I've always liked it. I think fans like it. They want big matchups. I think the ACC is also doing it this year as well. But the Big Ten doesn't. Then granted, Ohio State and Michigan are playing some SEC schools in week 2, but all in all, the Big Ten does not do that. And you look at their non-conference schedules, basically every team on there, and it's embarrassing. Some of the teams that they play, while other leagues are playing better teams. And there again, I feel differently about it because I love the big time non-conference game, but if the Big Ten's not going to do it and they're winning national titles, should the SEC be doing it? It's almost like the SEC was forced to go to 9 games because the Big Ten complained so much.
Yeah.
They did it, but the Big Ten didn't play anybody out of the league worth a damn.
Towards John's way of thinking, the last 3 national champions, Indiana, Ohio State, Michigan. Last year, Indiana's, again, 9-game schedule. Again, last year's Indiana non-conference schedule. You ready?
Oh, boy.
Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State.
Ooh.
That was a non-conference. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. Okay. They won those games by 32, 42, and 43. 2024, the national champion were the Ohio State Buckeyes. Their non-conference schedule, Southern Miss, Western Michigan, and Marshall. That was it. Their games were won by 46, 56, and 35. In 2023, Michigan. Non-conference schedule for the national champion Michigan Wolverines, East Carolina, UNLV, and Bowling Green. They won those games by 27, 28, and 25. That Bowling Green game, and again, every one of these games, by the way, all played bam, 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 first 3 games of the year. That's what the Big Ten does. The Bowling Green game for Michigan, they won it by 25. That is the closest non-conference result for any of the 3 Big Ten national champions in the last 3 years. A 25-point win was their closest non-conference win for any of those 3 in their national championship years. Why should anybody do it? Why should anybody play a big-time non-conference game?
Yeah. I don't know
That's
either.
The blueprint. Georgia won it the year before. Georgia was the last SEC team to win a national championship. Georgia had Oregon. They beat the snot out of them. They beat them 49-3. Samford. Kent State. And there was another one. I can't figure out when that one was. But not great there either. So it's not just the Big Ten. If you're going to win if you're going to play for a national championship, why knock yourself out in the early season?
I don't get it. It's like an exhibition, playing exhibition games in the NFL. Hey, they really don't matter, doesn't care, whatever. Now let's get to the real season in week 4.
Matters when you lose it.
To me, it cheapens your product. Your customers, your fans are spending money on tickets for games they really could care less about seeing. The television networks don't want them. But obviously the Big Ten either doesn't consider it a big issue or they don't care. Personally, I love the big non-conference games. Auburn's playing Notre Dame next year. They're playing Miami a little bit later on. Alabama's playing Ohio State next year. I don't know why Ohio State is willing to play some of the good non-conference games and the rest of the Big Ten basically is not, particularly Indiana. I love those games. Nothing against East Carolina, but I could care less. Oh, that's your team. So what? Don't want to see them play teams like that. Well, that's what college football is all about. Well, maybe in the 70s it was.
That's not what it's all about. That's what some of it's about. But does it cheapen the product? Last year, Miami, that last-ditch effort, Carson Beck threw it up down the field in an emergency roll. That kid intercepts it from Michigan. The Hoosier fans are going nuts. I don't know if it cheapened the product to the point where they said, hey, we're going to win the national championship. Golly, wouldn't it have been better if we had not played Kennesaw State in week 2? That would have made this so much more meaningful. No.
Well, I think other people look at it and say, I would have liked to have seen Indiana play Georgia in the regular season. I would have liked to have seen them play name your team. Did they have an easier path? I would think so.
I would think so, yeah.
And I think the easier path is what people have a problem with is, why is the SEC knocking themselves out? There again, I just thought, well, if the SEC was playing UT Chattanooga and Austin Peay and Kent State and all those types of teams, their entire non-conference schedule for all 16 teams were made up of teams like that. I can't imagine the Big Ten would like that. They'd probably start complaining about that, similar to, well, the SEC only plays 8 games. Isn't fair. Well, maybe the SEC ought to just use the same playbook as the Big Ten and say, you know what? I think we are going to start scheduling these type of teams. Just matter of fact, when you schedule Northwest Idaho State, just let them know we'd like to play them too. Yeah, we'll bring them down here and give them a little money for playing us.
Everybody knows that's what the fans want. But they also know that if they lose that game, the fans are going to be on their behind. That's one reason why there is such a big push for a 16 or a 24-team playoff. Because they'll forgive you a little bit more for losing that big-time non-conference game early if you get in the playoff and give yourself a chance then. If we had the 8-team playoff, or heck, back in the 4-team playoff, which I thought was good, you lose that game early in the year, you are done. Done. Fans ain't showing up for the late games and all that kind of stuff, and the coaches are telling their conference commissioners, man, you got to cut us a break. Man, you got to lobby hard for a bigger playoff because, man, I scheduled that big-time game early and I lose it. Our fans are checking out, but they want the big-time games. How about you set it up to where we can play those big-time games, and if we lose it, we still give ourselves a chance late in the year to keep our fans engaged and keep them excited about our team and get into the playoff. That's what that is all about. Coaches don't want to have to play a big-time non-conference game if it knocks them out of a playoff. If it doesn't knock them out of a playoff, they say, all right, we'll do it, but it better not cost us at the end.
Now, Bill, okay, I'm not going to argue with you here. Pre-2025 season, if I'd have seen Indiana pop up on Alabama's schedule, I'd have been going, what? Indiana? No. I don't want playing Indiana, but now I'd like to see them take a little tour around the SEC over about a 5 or 6 year period. It's similar to Boston College, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, you're right, Bill. I probably that would have not, what? But under the circumstances now, I'd like to see that.
Now, along those lines, though, week 3, this. In past years, I would have to think would have qualified as a big non-conference game. With all the implications, Alabama and Florida State would be a big deal. A little revenge, a little something. But, again, this speaks to John's fickleness in terms of good non-conference play. Actually, I think it's week It's week 4.
That's week 3. It's September the 19th.
There you go.
I'm looking at the helmet schedule you gave.
Yep. I'm looking at it too. Here you go. Yeah. In the past, in John's mind, that would qualify as a big-time non-conference game. It's right after, Florida State won before, embarrassed them and all that. And Florida State has won multiple national championships, which is the be-all, end-all. But I have not heard John say at all, yeah, man, look, whatever happens against East Carolina, fine. The Kentucky thing's going to be difficult, but man, that Florida State game.
Well, Barry, you know me long enough. There's tiers. There's this group of schools, and then you get to this group. I mean, Florida State's kind of in this group to me. I mean, it's better than a stick in the eye, but I would have probably preferred someone else. But whatever.
It's a big week for Jason Caldwell. He is resting up after a trip to Disney World with the youngster last week and getting ready for preseason camp coming up. We'll join him from Auburn 247 next. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 27 minutes to the top of the hour. Our friend Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247, joining us here today. Jason, hope you're doing well. How's it going?
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
Doing really well. First off, thing that sticks with you the most impressive thing about Jackson Coyven in Minnesota last weekend?
Probably just the fact that you had Scotty Scheffler on your heels and you didn't back down. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think, I remember thinking about, and listen, Scotty Scheffler's, he's not Tiger. It still feels a little bit different, but I remember people thinking about that. It's like whenever Tiger was involved, people folded, like the people just went away. And he didn't do that. He showed you that the kind of determination, those things. But I was thinking about it this week too, because listen, since he's been on campus, I've had everybody tell me, look, he's the best putter they've ever seen. And when you combine that with playing on golf courses that are immaculate every week, like you get on a PGA Tour, you're going to get a guy that's going to be able to do some things. Because listen, at college golf tournaments, the courses that they play on are nice.
Yeah.
but it's not like you're playing on a PGA Tour where it's like every blade of grass, if it's wrong, somebody gets fired over it, you know. And so I think, look, just the fact that you go out and win, it's different. PGA Tour U has allowed, I think it's taken a lot of pressure off because, look, you're not going out there going, man, if I don't make a few cuts, I don't have a card next year. I think it's taken some pressure off guys too, and I think that's helped a lot. But listen, it's just about going out and competing for him. That's kind of what he's always done, and you know, it's just fun to watch him because you see somebody that knows how to win, and I think that's hard. It's hard to do in any sport. It's hard to know how to win and to finish, and he showed that last week.
You know, in golf, Jason, I've always felt that, you know, you got to be mentally tough. I mean, I've played a lot of golf in my day, and man, there's been some stuff that I just haven't been able to get out of my head that I saw an opponent do, or, you know, sleeping on a lead or whatever it may be. And for this young man to be so new on the PGA Tour, to hold a lead overnight and to certainly hold on to it and strengthen it the next day, as young as he is and as new as he is on the tour, the mental side of his game, I know the kid can play. There's no doubt about that. And I think that's what separates a lot of these guys. There's a lot of guys that can play, but can they mentally handle it? And obviously he can.
Yeah, it's like playing corner in football where you go like, listen, you're just going to get beat sometimes. But like if you keep thinking about it, it's over with.
Yeah.
Like you can't think about those things. Look, it's consistency. It's the mental side of things. And you know, the one thing I had questions was like, would he be able to go and win a tournament where it took 25 under? Because I thought he would be at his best when it was tougher.
Right.
Because he's consistent. He putts it well. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes. And you think normally that sends you towards, you know, the tougher golf courses or colonial places like that are really tight and you pay. Look, and he goes out and wins and shoots 25 under, and you go, okay. All right, that's a little different. I wasn't expecting that side of Jackson Coyvin this early.
With the SEC media days in the rearview mirror, didn't get a chance to talk with you last week about Auburn's collective performance in there. I'm not asking you to compare any of this as well, but I thought Alex Golesh was, to coin a cliche, kind of a breath of fresh air from the last several coaches that Auburn has sent out there before. What'd you think?
Yeah, you know, for people that had not heard him very much, I think they probably were like, okay, I get it a little bit now because we've been talking about old school and we've been talking about like kind of it sounds cliche-ish, but it is very old school, but it has some tinge of like Nick Saban and Kirby Smart in that he used the word, he talks about process a lot. Like, listen, it's about the day-to-day, what are you doing today kind of thing. And that hadn't heard that around Auburn a bunch. He's not worried about what happened last week. He's not worried about what happens next year. It's about what you can control. And I thought, you know, listen, one of the more interesting things was talking about Byron Brown. Is look, I just told him, like, just be him. You don't have to be anybody else. And I think that's important because, listen, you get caught up in, everybody does, but you know, we talked about this some before, but like it's been 16 years since Cam Newton, and there hasn't been another one of those guys. But people keep trying to well, this is the next Cam Newton. Well, there's not going to be another one of those guys. Byron Brown just has to be Byron Brown, and I think that's what Alex Golesh just look. Just go out and be. He said, I think be the best version of you. That's all you can be, and I think that's refreshing to go. Listen, we're not asking you to do anything else other than just what you can do. And I think that's exactly what people have to be. I went back and watched a little bit of the Indiana Alabama game was on last night. I went back to some of it and it was like it still doesn't, when Indiana walks on the field, you still don't look at a team and go, and that team right there is fixing to dominate somebody.
Yeah.
Not physically, but then you watch them play and you go, like everybody just does exactly what they have to do. And I think that's the key right now in sports, because everybody has players.
I'm guessing that was on the Big Ten Network last night.
It was on the ESPNU, I think. It was not on the SEC Network, but yes, it was on the ESPNU. Because you watch a game, and I went back and I was like, I kind of want to just see again what they were like. Because I told somebody, I said, last week, actually. I said, listen, I saw Fernando Mendoza twice. Saw him at Cal twice.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'd have thought that guy was going to win a national championship and be the Heisman Trophy winner. No chance. Like, he was a good player. But then you look and going, look, every little thing there, and it just fell into place.
24/7. You posted something earlier this morning. A look at 5 summer editions for Auburn football as Tigers prepare for camp. Obviously, we want you guys to check that out. Subscriptions are easy, and you can be on that story in a matter of minutes. But any of those guys, without naming every name, any of those guys really, might factor into this fall, those summer editions, Jason?
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible now to think that a guy that's not on campus in January is going to go make a run. You look at maybe certain positions and you went, well, if you had a running back, that's a guy that probably could do something. But I think you look and go, maybe an Australian punter who's older and more mature than other guys. You got Hudson Cott coming back, but Max Bork is one of those rugby, Australian rules football, 6'4", 215-pound punter guys that's on campus now. And so you go, hey, who knows? That's probably the only one of those guys that you think about in terms of maybe being able to compete. You get a couple offensive linemen, a couple of defensive linemen. So outside, it's probably tougher for those guys to come in and do something like that. But I think maybe an older Australian punter is a guy that you say, hey, go out there and see what you can do early on. You got a new special teams coach, so you'll have some new thoughts in mind of where they want to do things with Jacob Oronsky. But that's probably the only one of those guys that you think about right now.
Jason, I don't know if you've watched or listened to any of the Big Ten media days up in Chicago this week, but they've been tooting their horn and beating their chest about, how many national championships they won in a row in college football. They really said a lot about, the SEC not playing 9 conference games. Greg Sankey got that, initiated. Now there's 9 conference games on the schedule. SEC teams also play a big-time non-conference opponent. The Big Ten does not. A couple of their schools do, but the majority do not. In saying that, does the SEC need to kind of think about, let's just schedule non-conference like the Big Ten does?
I don't know that it's impacted the winning a national championship, because the only way it impacts you is getting there. I don't know, because going back to that game last night, it's like they were like everybody was blowing up the fact that Alabama was as healthy as they've been all year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they weren't tired. They just lost to a better team.
I'm not sure they were mentally healthy. They might have been physically healthy.
Yeah. But I think, listen, it's a grind. It is. But listen, the SEC has not played 9 SEC games till this year. So it's not like they've been doing this 10-game gauntlet before. We know how difficult it is to play through this league, but it's not any more difficult than it was when Alabama and Georgia were grinding through it either. Maybe the depth is better, but I think it's just the fact that the Alabama and Georgia, whoever it is, LSUs of the world, they're not as deep as they have been. And that's the one thing you look at and go, look, that's probably where it impacts you a little bit, is that when you have an injury or two, that it probably, runs down to a level that you weren't having before. So I think, you look at the Big Ten and look, they've done a good job, but I think it's just cyclical, like everything is. Listen, before that run the SEC went on, it'd been a long time since they'd won like that. The Big Ten had not won in a while. I think the SEC they'll win some again, and it might be this year. Who knows? But I think it's the fact that you go like you win 3 and now you start tooting your own horn. You better be careful, because if I'll be really surprised. Now they might, but Michigan won a basketball national championship, but the program is falling apart around the athletic director and everything that's going on. Indiana, hey, we'll see what happens with them. Ohio State, those kind of things. But listen, the SEC, if you get caught up in trying to chase things like that now, then you might set yourself up for more. Just keep on finding ways to strengthen your programs. And right now, chasing national championships should be secondary to figuring out a way to fix what's going on in college sports, in my opinion. Because they got to figure out a way to make this thing work. Because yesterday was another shining example of why people are talking about getting the NCAA needs to be in a rearview mirror and figuring something out. Because like making a kid from Tennessee sit out 2 games for a $400 plane flight that he paid
back. Yeah.
When you've got people making millions of dollars in this sport because it was an agent. Well, all these guys have agents, every one of them.
Yes.
It was ridiculous. And it might've been a straw that if I'm Tennessee, I'm going to Greg Sankey and going, listen, we're not doing this anymore. Something's got to happen. It
was bad where, they cannot police the big things, but every once in a while they'll find something small in the weeds and hold it triumphantly and say, hey, we got this.
Yep.
It's embarrassing. I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to ask you about this. You mentioned the LSU game, and we were talking about that briefly before. It's a midday game. It's a morning game at, in late October. LSU, the media, what do we know? They picked LSU number 5 in the league. I think Auburn number 12. Is LSU worthy of a 5 ranking? Do you like them this year?
That's the part right now. Outside of probably Texas and Georgia, because they have their quarterbacks back and they have some pieces. They didn't have a ton of transfers. Outside of that, I don't really know. Yeah. I don't really know who's what. I still don't. You think like, go to SEC Media Days and figure it out. It don't help me any because everybody talks about all these newcomers, and you're like, okay, that's great, but who ultimately pushes the right buttons? Because I went back and looked. I'm doing this schedule preview and kind of everybody that you talk about. Like, okay, Auburn lost a bunch of close games. Arkansas lost a bunch of close games. Mississippi State lost a bunch of close games. Ole Miss won a bunch of close games. Can you find a way to win a couple of those games? And that's the difference between, for me, from about 3 to 14 or 15 is, can you find a way to win a couple of those games that you maybe lost by 4 or 5 points? Because I went back and did this week. Auburn's red zone touchdown percentage was dreadful. I mean, awful.
Yep.
And you lost 6 games by 7 points or less. Like, I'm talking about they were under 50% scoring touchdowns in the red zone last year as a team, under 40% in SEC games. If you go, okay, just add a little bit of that, and you lost 6 games by 7 points or less, how much does it change things? And that's the thing about LSU.
Yeah,
it's all new. You go like, we've seen Sam Leavitt be really good, but he was really good when he had a running back that he could hand the ball to, like Trey Mason, where he was like, hey, we're going to give this guy 45 times and he's going to wear you out. He hadn't been healthy. A bunch of new offensive linemen, all new wide receivers. The defense is better last year as Blake Baker continues to do things. We got a bunch of new faces on defense. Like, you just don't know. Schedules is difficult, but not crazy. LSU could be 3 or 4. They could be 11th in the league too. It's that close.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you bring that up, Barry, because the teams that are at the top of this poll that this media voted on down in Tampa, they all got quarterbacks coming back from A&M to Ole Miss to Georgia to Texas. I mean, it's like, well, if they got a returning quarterback, we're going to put them high on the list.
Yep, that's it. I mean, that's that's the one position where you go, if you feel like you got that guy, then it and Auburn doesn't have a returning quarterback coming back, but they got a returning quarterback in the same system coming back. And so you're like, well, does that help? I think it probably does. But again, it's not the only thing. Mm-hmm. But you look at Ole Miss and you go, they got a returning quarterback coming back. They lost all their wide receivers. Yeah. They lost their play caller and their number 2 play caller. I think that's really important.
I think so.
Yeah.
And so, because I always think back to 2003 Auburn football, and you got a first-round quarterback, 2 first-round running backs, got all these wide receivers back. And you ran the same offense. The only difference was the guy that ran the offense left. But that's the most important thing is going who calls what play at what time. Anybody can draw up a play and go, oh, man, we're going to run. Here's our plan. The plan don't work unless you do it at the right time. And so that's the thing. You look at it going, LSU has all new pieces. They got a guy that can call plays. Ole Miss has the pieces, but they don't have the guys. Does it all work? I don't know. We'll find out. But I think you just don't know.
And one of the things you touched on, Jason, and I think we talked about this with you several weeks ago, and I looked it up too. I mean, it's amazing how many close games Auburn has lost over the last several seasons. I mean, it isn't like they're getting blown out. I mean, they were close into every one of them almost.
Yeah. No, it's and that's it. You start thinking about why, and you're like it's like I went back and looked at red zone touchdowns because I was like, look at there's no guarantee, there's no one stat because Arkansas was really good for scoring red zone touchdowns last year, but their defense was awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you go, okay, well, but Auburn's defense is pretty good. You look and going, okay, if you can keep yourself, can you score touchdowns? Okay, that was the key for them. But yeah, I mean, like, look, they lost. They were 5-7. Georgia 20-10 was the largest margin of defeat for them, and that's a game that you probably at a minimum should have been up 17-0 at halftime, and probably 21-0. Yeah. The rest of them, you had the ball multiple times, lost 2 games in overtime. You had multiple opportunities in the second half and fourth quarters of games where one score either allows you to tie the game or take the lead, and you didn't convert. And so, it was at, and I said fans hated because they kept saying, well, we feel like we're close. You are, but it doesn't matter if you never get there. Then
that's right.
Then you're not close at all. And so that was the thing. Close. If you're close and you're 8-4, then you can go, all right. But being close and winning none of them doesn't really matter.
No, you're exactly right. Well said. Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247. Next week when we talk, preseason camp will already be underway. Talk a little bit about between now and then, what's in the hopper for the website.
It's just kind of continuing some of the last preview looks where you look at some of the guys you think can have an impact, some of those things, because you'll actually get to some real football here in less than a week. And so then you start to do that. We'll have, right now I believe we'll have Alex Golish on Tuesday as the quote unquote report day. There's no report day anymore. They just come back. Like it's come back day. We'll give you a week off, come back and start to practice, but we'll have him. And then they actually start on the Wednesday, I think is on the 5th. So we'll get some viewing windows. We'll have some player interviews, all those things. So we actually get to talk about some real football here pretty soon.
Yep. Auburn247.com on social media, ITAT Jason. It's always the most difficult thing for me to explain to people who are not football fans, the difference between summer and report day and fall camp. They're already here, but then why are they,
I know. I tell the young guys on the beat, I'm like, you don't understand that when report day was actually report day because these guys showed up and you're like, who's here and who's not and who's waiting on the clearinghouse. Because that's
all for clearinghouse.
The NCAA clearinghouse, thankfully, is not a thing anymore. But, you'd always go out there the next day and you'd ask Tommy Tuberville, well, who's still waiting? Well, this guy's still waiting on the clearinghouse. It's day 5 of practice, and they've had his information since June the 17th.
Sure.
That he's still not cleared yet. So
always good, man. Jason. Appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247, joining us here today on the program. Always a great segment on the program. Appreciate Jason's time.
Yes. Coming up in just a little bit, yes. It's Rockin' Rodney Day.
Yeah.
Rodney or the Tiger Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. It's he brings up several things that you think about. Yesterday at Troy, we did a feature. We filmed a feature with the 2 quarterbacks, Goose Crowder, the 2 top quarterbacks, Goose Crowder and Tucker Kilcrease. Now Tucker's from right down the road in Brantley. He's a Troy family. Goose Those guys have been here all summer. I see them working out all summer down in the weight room out in the indoor practice facility. And you're trying to explain to people, all right, next week they start preseason camp.
Yeah.
What have they been doing? Well, they've been lifting weights. They've been running drills. I've seen them out there in the indoor practice facility. They're running and stuff. Yeah, but it's not real practice. So what are they going to do when they first get there? Well, you got to get weighed in. You got to make sure that, all of your stuff is right and all this kind of stuff. Well, when do they start practicing? Well, it's a day or two in shorts and shells. Well, they have been in shorts before? Well, yeah, but well, when do they really start like getting ready with pads and stuff? I said, well, that's in a week and a half. So what have they been doing? It's supposed back in the day, what it was like. One of my favorite stories was Albert Means. I loved that guy. We had almost a year's worth of content on Albert Means, a defensive lineman out of Memphis who was highly touted. And there was some back chat, some backroom innuendo about his recruitment and the amount of money it took. It was funny because, he signed out of Memphis and he showed up on report day when it was report day, and he weighed about 330. And they were all like, Albert, man, what'd you do? He said, I did what you told me to. They said, eat a lot of chicken and everything. Well, was it grilled? He said, no, man, I ate all that fried chicken. He says, you're not supposed to eat fried chicken. You're supposed to eat grilled chicken and, all that kind of stuff. So that was always, Jason talks about, hey, that guy isn't here yet. I also like looking at some of those guys the first day because, John, you hadn't seen him for 3 months.
Yeah, no,
and you look at it and you're like, wow.
And the coach says,
that guy let himself go.
Don't be coming back at 320. You better come back at 280.
And, John, it was holy Hades for those guys the first couple of weeks of preseason camp because they're out there running in the heat at 340. Right. They're running hills with garbage bags over them, making them sweat more. It was,
those were the days, folks. Golly, those were the days. Drinking out of a big fire hose that they irrigated the field with.
Yeah, Auburn had one of those. Yeah. Auburn had one of those, except they had the metal pipes.
That's right.
The metal pipes that would come up and over, and you had the little pipe ends that you turn on. You had that one GA. He was in charge of turning on the water faucet. You had to turn it on full blast, and it'll come jetting out of there, and the players would come over there, and they'd get water from a hose out of the pipe, and it was always the freshman who'd go over there and get a quick drink and everything, and the water is about 170 degrees in there. You got to wait for a little while. Ask the upperclassmen. And nowadays, I don't know that they drink anything but bottled water or filtered
Gatorade
water
or whatever. Yeah, come on. Yeah, geez.
Men were men. Let's take a break.
Let's do it.
When we come back, our second hour of the live show will be with Rodney Orb, TiderInsider.com. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game. Get back to work. and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. Okay, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, scheduled to join us here momentarily, brought to you exclusively by our good friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, bringing you trucks up daily for the past 32 years with fresh Gulf seafood, fresh shrimp in all sizes, crab meat, oysters, and all varieties of fish. Also, their full-service kitchen as well is great to know about because they can prepare it for you. Unless if you want to take it home and cook it up yourself, great. But if you'd like for the Destin Connection to do it, they certainly can handle it. 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead. Your order will be ready for pickup. 334-288-4272. The Destin Connection Seafood Market.
Rodney, good morning. Welcome in. It's great to have you with us here on the show.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Well, it's going good, and I appreciate you being on here. I hate to begin the program like this, but for some reason, probably a valid reason, this one hit me a little bit because, we're getting older, I guess, but I remember distinctly Jackie Klein when he played at Alabama, and I saw Jackie Klein play for the Birmingham Stallions. I can't remember who they played, but he had a heck of a game against them, the game I saw at Legion Field. Jackie Klein passed away this week, and I feel a little bit older because I remembered him well. He was a good football player, Rodney.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, Jackie, it's a real shame to hear about that. And, I know a lot of the players from that era, obviously. Tommy Wilcox, really good friends with Jackie. And I see Tommy regularly and, certainly followed Jackie through his sickness through Tommy. But, Jackie was an outstanding player. I'm like you, Barry. We might have been at that same game. I was covering it for the local TV station, WCFT 33 in Tuscaloosa, now ABC 40, ABC 33 in Birmingham. But, I was covered Jackie when he was with the Stallions, and they had a really good defense. Raleigh Dodge, the head coach, as you remember.
Oh, yeah.
What was the guy's name that was a quarterback that used
Cliff Stout played for the Steelers.
Yeah, he sure did. We talked about I talked to Cliff a few times about playing with Terry Bradshaw, playing under him. So, that was a great time, and Jackie was a fantastic player.
Yeah, boy, no doubt. That was the best professional football Birmingham ever had was the Stallions back in the mid 80s. It was awesome. Went to many games there myself. Rodney, we talked last week about media days in Tampa, and of course the preseason polls from the media members have come out, and they've made their say. And Barry and I kind of figured it out. It just seems like they picked teams that had starting quarterbacks coming back in the top 4, 5, 6 slots there. But did it surprise you? Was any thing that you saw that was out of whack position kind of surprised me based on what I was hearing from people going into media days? And, whoa, Bama's going to be a playoff team. I think it's going to be kind of difficult if they finish 6th in the league.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right about that. I think the one thing that sticks out to me is, I think obviously Georgia and Texas would have been my top 2. Either way you want to kind of bracket those 2 teams. But I would say this. I think 3 through 7 you could kind of just toss them in a hat and say, okay, this team. So Bama being 6, no, I mean, they could just as easily have been 3 or 4. I really thought, John, they would land somewhere between 4 and 7. And so that to me, I'm not really surprised by that. But what does it really matter? In the long run, we know it's going to all be played out on the field for sure.
You had talked with us last week, and you made a good case about how Kay Lindebor and Ryan Grubb will approach the quarterback race, and that's all. That's what a lot of people are talking about, obviously, between Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. And you said that you think it's likely that they both will play. They both will play early in a couple of the early games, and I agreed with that. I did notice on the message board there's a couple of people who had alternate viewpoints. They think name a starter, especially if it's the kid, get him all the snaps he possibly can, and all of that. Can you see that point as well, Rodney?
I mean, I definitely see that as a point. I mean, but I just don't know how much separation there's going to be. My understanding is that in the spring, they basically came out very close. The one thing that I think Mac has an advantage of is he does have a thorough understanding of the playbook. He probably manages things a little bit better right now. He's a really talented guy. It's not what I'm saying, not making him into a game manager, but or strictly a game manager, but he does that maybe a little better right now than Russell, who is extraordinarily gifted. There's no doubt about that. I made my pre-camp pick. That's my pre-camp pick. And I said, I believe that Mac starts the first game against East Carolina, but both play in that game.
Right.
Now, what happens after that, I guess we'll see. But again, that's just my prediction right now. If there's some separation, it would not surprise me if they named the starter for that game, 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me. But yes, I that's kind of the way I see it right now. Certainly it's subject to change.
Rodney, I definitely could see both players, both quarterbacks playing significant time, no matter what the outcome. I mean, say it's a 7-0 lead midway through the second quarter, I still see the other one getting in the game because I think they want to see these guys in a real game situation, not mop-up duties, things like that. But after the East Carolina game, Rodney, I don't think you want to go to Lexington still trying to figure out who your quarterback is.
Well, I would go back to 2011 when it was A.J. McCarron and Phillip Sims. And AJ had a little bit of an edge, but I think Saban wanted to allow it to play out.
Yep.
For the players to see who's the best quarterback or who's the guy that's right for us now at this point. And they both kind of did what you said. I think they split quarters in the opener against Kent State. I think AJ started, then Phillip came in. Maybe it was 2 series. I can't remember what it was exactly off the top of my head, but that's the way they did it. And then I think in game 2, they went to Penn State. And AJ played the whole game and was magnificent, was really managed everything extremely well. So I could see that kind of scenario.
It's interesting to think about all of that. And it's also difficult to explain exactly the setup for all of that. They report, by the time we talk to you next week, they will have reported and all that. And the mechanism, you've gone over this for years with us, what they're going to do early and, get shorts and shells are mandated and all that kind of stuff. What are the immediate items to address with the football team? What are the, other than quarterback, obviously, what are the biggest questions to address when when a preseason camp gets started?
Well, I think first and foremost, obviously that quarterback battle's got to play out, but I think the offensive line, they've got to determine who are our 5 guys, and then who are the next 2 or 3 that we can count on if you have that many that you feel comfortable with or confident in. So I think right now, obviously, if you want to look at the offensive line, Jackson Lloyd has already been penciled in from practice number 3 last spring as a starting left tackle. I think at left guard, there's probably a 3-way battle heading into this camp, and it's Will Sanders coming back. He missed spring. one of the transfers from Ole Miss, Ethan Fields. And then I think also, you'll have another guy or two battling there. I think at center, obviously, Delgatti is the guy right now. I think at right guard, obviously, Michael Carroll is back. He's going to move inside. He's played that spot as well as right tackle. And then I think the right tackle spot is open with Javen James and Nick Brooks kind of trying to battle it out. And I think you really hope that both of those guys, one of those two guys wins the job. Now, let me go back to left guard for a second. Okay. Mal Waldrop's in that mix as well. So that's a three-way battle there. So you kind of get the drift. I think right now, left tackle, center, right guard seem to be settled. The other two spots have to kind of play out. And if they play out the way it's hoped, then those other three spots are going to remain, Carroll can remain at right guard. So it's just, you have to get that settled, Barry. You have to get that settled
pretty quick.
Yeah, and with those first 5 games, I mean, it's so important, Rodney, to get a lot of that settled, whether it's offensive line, whether it's quarterback, whether it's that running game. So many things we've talked about throughout the summer. They got to get that settled in. We all know they can't afford to drop one of those first 5 games before Georgia comes to town in early October.
No doubt. Got to start 5-0. I think that's the key. You put yourself behind the 8 ball last year in the Florida State loss, and then you rebounded really well. That's tough to do. It's really difficult to do. You don't want to do that again this year for sure, because that backside of the schedule is going to appears to be much tougher. I mean, obviously Georgia, you've got Texas A&M, you've got Tennessee, you've got LSU, and I think Auburn by that time is going to be a really improved football team. And I think that stretch run, you lose 1 or 2 up front. Whoa. The second half of that season is going to be real daunting.
So many people are really nervous isn't the right word, concerned about the status of the upcoming recruiting class, the 27 class. But man, 28 looks terrific. They got a commitment from a kid from Delaware. You updated that on the website and pointed out there's like 7-8 commits for 2028, and all of them are 4 and 5. 27 may be a bit of a question mark, but 28 looks great.
Well, they've got off to a fast start for sure. Like you said, 7 commitments right now, and Tyseer Young is the player you're referring to from Delaware. That's the linebacker, 6'3", about 220. The guy that I guess he's kind of projected as an edge player. Georgia, Miami, a lot of the powerhouse teams were in on him. And again, it is early. I mean, we're talking 18 months from now. A lot of things can change. John and Barry, I think there were like 5 or 6. I'd have to go back and look at the number of early commitments to the 2027 class that now are headed somewhere else. So let that sink in a little bit. There's nothing really set in stone, obviously, with these commitments. But yes, it is. I think they're going to land some more really talented guys on the horizon. But we'll see.
An off the field issue we've talked a little bit about this week, Rodney, are corporate sponsorships. I'm sure you've heard about what Ohio State's done with Chase Bank and Notre Dame with SoFi. I mean, a multi-million-dollar deal for patches to be attached to not only the football team's jerseys, but all the other athletic teams. I got to think Greg Byrne's working on something like that as well. Have you heard anything? Are there any rumblings? Could there possibly be an announcement before the season starts?
Oh, John, you want me to get them stirred up, don't you?
Woo, yeah. And what would the fan reaction be if that happened?
Yeah.
Would you think?
Well, listen, right now it's where it's going, right? I mean, I watched Martin Houston, a little bit of his clip on one of his shows, and he made a great point that Alabama fans get upset about these things, right? They don't want anything changed on the uniform. Well, there have been changes through the years. There used to be numbers on the sleeves a long time ago. There used to be numbers. They wore white helmets, whether fans want to believe that or not. They wore white helmets. There's photos of that. All right. Okay. So, but no, they added that little script A on the collar. They added the Nike swoosh on the shoulder. I mean, these things have been added. So to me, John, to get to your question, I don't know of anything on the horizon, but I would say this, and I've talked to other people that have certainly wondered about that.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, hopefully, and I'm not an athletic director, so I'm not questioning Greg Byrne or how this process works or what it all entails. But I would have been talking to Mercedes a long time ago, because I think that's a natural fit. Now, again, I don't know all the details, so I'm not being critical, and he might be involved in discussions with them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, John Barry. Now think about this. You got Mercedes on the shoulder, right? You got Mercedes on the field, on Saban Field, Saban Mercedes. I mean, it's a natural connection. Everybody knows that. So, I mean, to me, if you can make that happen, if it's possible, I think that would be a really good fit.
Rodney, you know, Coach Bryant was a businessman himself. Not only a great football coach, but Coach Bryant had ties in with a lot of big companies: Amana, South Central Bell, Coca-Cola, Golden Flake. I mean, I could go on and on. If Golden Flake potato chips came to Coach Bryant in the 70s and said, "We're going to pay you this amount of money to put a Golden Flake patch on your jersey," I think they'd have done it.
You know, John, I think he probably would have as well. And somebody would have called him about it, and he'd have told him, "This is my team, and this is what we're going to do. And when you get your team, you can do whatever you want to do with it." That's the way he used to address those things.
Yeah.
But no, I listen, I think that's probably accurate. You know, you talk about that. Every little thing here is dissected at Alabama. You guys know that. I mean, if they came out wearing white cleats and crimson shoestrings, everybody would notice it. And you know, Coach Bryant one time took the team. I think they were on the west sideline, and he moved them to the east sideline so that TV could see. The camera would always be on the Alabama sideline.
Yeah.
You know, exposure, publicity, those types of things. That's why he did that. And here's a funny story to that.
All right.
When Coach Fran was here, they were still on the east sideline. Coach Fran told me personally that he wanted to move the team to the west sideline because he could see the chains better. The sun wouldn't be in his eyes, but he was afraid to do it. He was afraid of the Fran reaction.
Yeah.
He said, if you change something Coach Bryant did around here, these people are going to be in an uproar. That's part of the reason Fran got out of here. Okay, so that's just something to think about in terms of this patch.
Well, I remember when Ray Perkins took the Coach Bryant's tower down, people went berserk.
Oh, yeah, they did. And of course, you know, it eventually went back up, but as you know, but you're right. I mean, that was a topic for, I don't even know how long. Even Sports Illustrated wrote something on it.
Last week, Rodney, and you mentioned earlier this morning, Tommy Wilcox. Tell us a little bit about Tommy and his playing days.
Well, this is a great story. In fact, I think that's what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
You know, when Tommy was recruited out of high school, he was from Harahan, Louisiana, a New Orleans suburb. He was coming out the same year as another great quarterback, John Forcade.
Yes, we've had him on the show.
Yep.
My understanding is John Forcade set up 3 commitment announcements to pick Alabama. Canceled all 3 of them. Ended up going to Ole Miss. Forcade actually called Tommy because they, you know, were in the same area. They were both touted quarterbacks coming out of high school. Forcade calls Tommy and asks Tommy, "Where are you going, Tommy?" He said, "Probably Alabama." And I know that Coach Griska, who was recruiting them for Alabama, told me to my face that he asked Tommy, he said, "Tommy, if we get Forcade, how would you feel about that? Would that make you want to go somewhere else?" And Tommy says, "I don't care who's there. I'm coming to Alabama." So Tommy didn't back down. He got here. They had him at quarterback in the wishbone. his freshman year. He redshirted. So he told me he got beat up. I mean, he said Rich Wingo, Barry Krause, Marty Lyons, just EJ Jr. Those guys killed him every day.
Lord.
Okay. So Tommy decided, I've had enough of this. I don't see myself playing anytime soon. I'm going back to New Orleans or Harahan. And so he goes back right before the start, about this time, about this same exact time. He goes back to Harahan. He was quitting. Coach Bryant called him and said, hey, we've got two-a-days today. You've left, but in between the practices, now think about this. In between the practices, I'm flying down to New Orleans, and I want you to meet me at this particular hotel right by the airport. So Coach Bryant flies down to Harahan or to New Orleans. They meet at the hotel, and Coach Bryant tells him, he says, Tommy, if you don't come back to Alabama, it'll be the worst mistake of your life. He says, I think you can be an All-American player for us. I want to move you to safety, and I think you'll play, possibly start this year. But we need you to come back now. So Tommy said, okay, coach, I'll come back. And he said, okay. He said, I'm moving you to defensive back. They made the agreement. Tommy gets back here. First day he's back, goes through two-a-days. Guess what? He's back at quarterback, getting hammered. And Tommy's thinking, Coach Bryant lied to me. He did this, and he got me back. Man, I made a mistake. Shouldn't listen to him. Well, this was all planned. An assistant coach comes over and he whispers to Tommy in the middle of practice. He said, Coach is just testing you. So he just wants to see how you're going to respond. Hang tight. You're gonna move to safety. Just hang tight. So Tommy hung tight. By the second half of that Georgia Tech opener, Tommy was already, really showing that he was going to be a great player. He was a freshman All-American that year. Of course, he was a redshirt, but he was a freshman All-American, two-time All-American, played in the USFL for several years. So that's kind of the Tommy Wilcox story.
Oh, wow.
And to me, it's a really good one.
That is a really good one. I didn't know that. And Coach Bryant, I mean, I've read all the books. I've got them all back here. Coach Bryant would find out which buttons he needed to push. Every player's buttons are different, Rod.
Yeah.
And he would do in everybody's career. I imagine you've talked to 100 people who can tell you that one time in their career under Coach Bryant, they had to make a decision.
Well, listen, somebody actually, they had a preseason kickoff event here in Tuscaloosa where Jeremiah Castile spoke, Scott Cochran spoke. Man, it was a great event. That was on Monday night. Yeah. It's a tremendous, saw a lot of old faces. Okay. A lot of, I say old, I mean old names, Yeah. And it was really an incredible event. And somebody told me a story about Mal Moore, that actually it was Cochran mentioned this, that Mal told him that he called his dad about 2 weeks into practice when he was a freshman. He said, Dad, I'm quitting. I'm coming home. His dad said, no, you can't do that. You need to stay there and, battle it out. Be good for you. Don't quit. A couple of days later, Mal calls him back. He said, Dad, it's over. I'm done. I'm coming home. His dad says, no, you're not coming home because I've already taken your room and turned it into my office. So you don't have a place to stay. So you're staying there at Alabama. Well, guess what? Mal Moore now has what? The Mal Moore building. His name is on that building. What if he'd have quit? What if he'd have quit?
Everybody's got a story like that.
That's right.
For him.
Yeah. And I tell you, you brought up Mal. I mean, Mal's probably got more great Bryant stories and has told more great Bryant stories. Heck, the story about Saban is amazing. When Mal shared that with everybody, man, I miss old Mal. One of my favorites.
I think the funniest story, John and Barry, that I remember Mal telling was they were playing Washington in '75. That was when I think it might have been John James's first year at Washington. Alabama was really good. Johnny Davis was a young player. He was a sophomore. I mean, Alabama was really strong. And Washington comes to town and Alabama just hammers them like 58-0. Okay. Well, one of the drives, Alabama's backed up to the goal line. And Mal keeps calling, this play where Johnny Davis, it's a dive play. Johnny would get 4, he'd get 6, he'd get 8. And after every play, they got out to about the 20-yard line. And Coach Bryant said, Mal, run the reverse. And Mal would call the same dive play. And finally, Johnny Davis would run for 6. Anyway, they worked their way out after about 3 or 4 plays. Each one, Coach Bryant coming to him say, Mal, I told you to run the reverse. I told you to run the reverse. So they get out around midfield, and Mal says, I think I'm going to run the reverse. So he runs the reverse, and the receiver fumbles the ball. Washington recovers. Mal looks over at Coach Bryant. Coach Bryant said, Mal, I meant to run it the other direction.
The wrong way reverse. Oh, I love it. That is so good. Awesome. Hey, Rodney Orr brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market here in Montgomery. They've been bringing trucks up daily for the past 32 years of fresh Gulf seafood. Fresh shrimp in all sizes, crab meat, oysters, and all varieties of fish. Also, their full-service kitchen is available for you as well, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead. Your order will be ready for pickup, 334-288-4272. So much going on with Tider Insider, TITV. Tell us all about it, Rodney.
Right. TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card. If you prefer, there is an address there to send a check that gives you all our premium information, but also our all sports forum. It's our community there of Alabama fans. Again, it's really starting to heat up. I wrote a piece yesterday that got them a little worked up about Alabama does have the talent to win every game on the schedule.
Oh, yeah. I loved that piece.
Yeah. So those types of things on TiderInsider.com.
Outstanding. Appreciate you, Rodney.
Thank you, Rodney.
Guys, appreciate it. Take care.
You too, buddy. Great stuff, man. The stories, I love them, man. So good. That Tommy Wilcox story.
Oh, yeah. And the one about about Mal.
Yeah, good stuff.
My dad. I mean, we had 4 kids in our family. I probably would have done me good if he'd have told me. And you ain't going anywhere. You go back there.
Yep.
Yep. That's so funny. As is usually the case, we got a little catching up to do after the second segment of the second hour on Thursday. It's Longshore. Are we okay in the next segment to talk about the Phantoms Daily Dog?
Yeah, I think we can squeeze it in.
All right, we might get that in next. Yeah. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Have to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 28 minutes past the hour. Thanks again to Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Let's see where we are. Oh, yeah, well, I guess we better go over this. Yeah,
well,
why not?
John Denver had a song one time called Some Days Are Diamonds, and Some Days Are Stones.
That's true.
There are days that the Phantom can tell you about, many days in the past where there have been excruciatingly late seismic turns of events that have really just crushed the Phantom. There have been days where the Phantom has had winners, And boy, you wait until the last possible moment to get over that number. The most improbable things happen at the very last moment, and the Phantom says, "Oh wait, we covered.
That's
right.
right.
We did. Whoa,
Look at that."
And then there are also days like yesterday where the Phantom's Daily Dog, where the Cohiba was clipped, the brandy was already in the snifter, well before the game finally came to a close.
Yeah, probably so. Don't like to really count our chickens before they hatch, but San Francisco jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the second. Then they let Milwaukee put up a run in both the third and the fourth, so that the game was a little tight to the bottom of the sixth when the Giants blew it wide open.
Wide open.
With a 7-run sixth inning. Woo! They got 10 runs on the board. When they wrap up the sixth inning, they're leading 10-2 at that point.
All right, okay, all right.
Milwaukee did have the bases loaded at the top of the seventh with 2 outs, was only able to scratch across 1 run. That was an exhale moment. But then the Giants put up 3 in the bottom of the seventh and the bottom of the eighth.
Honey, I can't find my lighter. Can you have you got any matches, anything for this cigar?
By that time, Milwaukee's saying, fire the jet up. Let's go. We got to get ready to go play. So, so that's how it was. 16-3.
16-3.
Whoa.
Easy squeezy.
Yeah. It
lemon
was
peasy.
A comfortable win. I think maybe Milwaukee was just looking to get out of the Bay Area, move on to where they're playing.
A lot of people are, if you catch my drift.
They certainly are. So that was a nice win for the Phantoms Daily Dog. But let's look to today. That was then. This is now.
I don't think you luxuriate enough in the big easy covers. I think it's always that was great. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
all right, what do we got today?
Yeah, I got to move on.
Yeah.
Today, Barry, we are going with a game that begins at 6:10 p.m.
There's a couple of early starts today. For those of you who, like to eat a ham sandwich at lunch in front of the TV.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also 2 6:10 starts and 3 games even after that. Okay, 6:10.
6:10. This, Barry, will take place in the Natty, as in Cincinnati. Where Rhett Lauder for the Reds is going up against Yohan Ramirez.
That's the first time we've heard the name Lauder on this in this partnership in quite a while. We used to hear it 5-6 times a show.
That's right.
This is Rhett Lauder.
Rhett Lauder.
No
That's
relation.
Correct.
Yes.
Started my radio career working for Bobby
For a
Lauder.
Gentleman named Lauder. Yes.
That's exactly right.
Well, Rhett, his numbers aren't as impressive as Bobby Lauder's numbers.
True. That's true.
3-7 for Cincinnati pitcher Rhett Lauder. 3-7, an ERA of 5.61.
What's Yohan Ramirez got going for him?
He is 6-3 with an ERA of about half of what young Mr. Lauder's earned on average.
Bear, we're really banking on the Cincinnati bullpen today.
Yeah.
That's really what we're working on with this one. Is Pittsburgh, the Pirates, come to town to take on Cincinnati tonight at 6:10. And if you look, which probably most people do, Pittsburgh is in the third position, 12 and a half games back in the National League Central Division, while Cincinnati is in dead last at the moment. But
7 games under 500.
That's true. But Pittsburgh's only 4 games ahead of them. I mean, you can make up a lot of ground here against the Pirates this weekend. I think this is the time they make a move. Now, of course, Pittsburgh is coming in losing their last 2. Pittsburgh lost their last game. As a matter of Cincinnati lost their last game as well. So, heck, somebody's got to win tonight. They don't have ties in baseball. So we like Cincinnati tonight, even though Rhett Lauder might not have the big numbers. Somebody likes him because they're even against the Pittsburgh Pirates at 6:10 tonight. That is your Phantoms Daily Dog, the Cincinnati Reds. They might not be the big red machine of days gone by, but We're going to take them tonight anyway.
Ken Griffey in left, Cesar Geronimo, or George Foster in left, Cesar Geronimo in center.
Didn't George Foster always a bat with a black bat? It was always, I remember him always having a bat that was
How in the world
black.
did you remember
I don't
that?
know.
Hit 52 homers one year. Rose at third, Concepcion at short. Tony Perez at first, bench behind the plate.
I mean, how'd they have all that talent in a town like Cincinnati? I don't know. Wow. They were good. I do remember
there we
that.
go.
Yep. So there you have it. That Cincinnati even against Pittsburgh tonight for the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Already getting texts. Hey, does the Phantom play preseason NFL games in the Daily Dog?
You think?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. In Vegas, though, they put a limit on how much you can bet on a preseason game because I think, they don't really know who's playing and what's going on. I've been told that really when you wager on preseason NFL, they're looking for a team that's going to play the starters the longest amount of time. Makes sense. I get it. That's one of the matrix they look at. I kind of look at it as well, but you never know.
Couple of things here before we go to break. Got two more breaks to get to before the Daily Dog. Motide Pride. That's John Dent. That's our buddy John Dent.
I like that guy.
He obviously came late to the show because he says, John, what's the significance of the AU logo football behind you? We addressed that early in the program because I noted that it's right behind his right earlobe. And he said he was wondering when somebody would notice that. And I said, I've been getting texts about that all the time. Oh, Auburn Mike Man Longshore.
I just moved them around a little bit.
He's had it the whole time.
There's my Camellia Bowl, and I just moved the Auburn Bowl, and I'll try to do this real quick. So then there's an Alabama National Championship ball from years gone by, and I thought I'd just put because I got some Sports Illustrated photos. That is Derrick Henry, and I'm not sure who was 47 that ran the kickoff. Oh, not 17. Yeah, against Clemson in the national championship game.
Oh, is that Kenyon Drake?
Yeah, so I just thought I'd change things up a little bit. And I did wonder, though, Barry, how long it would take for somebody to go, whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
Am I seeing things? No way.
I got a ton of Troy. I got
a
Troy basketball here. I got a Larry Blakeney autographed football here. Got a ton of Troy stuff, as you might imagine. I've got
Barry,
one Auburn thing, and that's a painting somebody gave me of the late, great friend Rod Bramlett. My brother, who went to school at the University of Florida, gave me a pencil drawing, full-size pencil drawing one time of Emmitt Smith. I know we're going to give a tour around my office at some point in my studio.
So, I thought I'd just throw it out there. That was Auburn. That was a game ball for the national championship that they won against. Anybody? Anybody remember? Anybody? All I hear is about the, South's oldest continuous football rivalry and the Iron Bowl. But anybody? Anybody? Quack, quack. There you go.
That is so totally put on. Because every Auburn fan I know, that was a high point of their lives. And John saying, hey, I know it's not Alabama, but how about nobody? Nobody gives any credibility to what you just said. Anybody out there? Yeah.
Barry, I actually had and I think I showed it to you. Well, I had a Daniel Moore of Michael Dyer, when he kind of got up off that Oregon player. He wasn't down.
Was never ruled down.
Yeah.
And then he ran down the field and set up Wes Byron for the field goal. But nobody remembers that because that's not the Iron Bowl. Yeah.
I had the Daniel Moore of that. And it was here it was right over here. I would show it to you. But
who gave it to you? Because I know.
One of my nephew. Well.
There you go. There you go. Knew it.
Who did give it? No, did somebody? I think.
Well,
I don't remember, but I gave it to my nephew, who is a freshman. He'll be a sophomore at Auburn. He is at Auburn, and I gave it to him when he went to Auburn. He's got it in his room.
Very nice. Very nice.
Also, believe me, I hated parting with it. It was tough. I got to tell you, but I thought it would be better served in a young man's dorm room in Auburn where he was a student.
Well, I just thought the thought behind it was nice on your behalf. Can I stick it maybe behind the toilet and run out of the house so I'm gone and down the road before he realizes it's back there? That was nice. I mean, that took some advantage.
Maybe in a closet before I gave it to him? Possibly.
I think I got that back there somewhere. Yeah. Rummage around in the back underneath the shoes. You see it? Okay, I do.
I'm just glad it's being put to good use.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that.
Also, this from Plainsman Preston before we go to break. Yep. He said, wasn't George Foster the first one to wear his uniform pants down to his shoes? That's very good, Plainsman Preston, but you're thinking of George Hendrick. Ooh. Not Rick. You're talking about George Hendrick, who played for the A's. He played for the Cardinals. It was George Hendrick. First one to do that. George Hendrick also batted with that extreme closed stance. You could almost see his uniform number on the back of his jersey.
So with the closed stance, what was he trying to accomplish? Was he trying to dip it, zing it down the first baseline or something?
Well, no, he's trying to keep his bat back because he's too quick to the ball. And nobody does that anymore, by the way. But back in the day, that used to be the thing.
Barry, I grew up playing golf like that. And I do have a closed stance. I'll admit it. Because I was so quick and I could, that's how I could hit the fairway with a closed stance. If I had a regular stance, I'd hit it left of the left
every time.
rough.
Yeah, you can
do
that.
So I'd close my stance and I could hit it straight.
People are scared to change in golf.
Ain't kidding.
Try something new. Oh no! If I do, I'll screw it up and I'll never get my swing.
Barry, every lesson I've ever had, and most people that I know, it's great. You go through a new little thing, but if it's crunch time and you're on the 18th fairway and you're saying, I have got to hit the green now, there's no playing around. You're going to go back to what you know you can do.
Yeah.
And I'll close that stance every time.
That's
knock it up there in the leather and walk up on the green and go, is that one good?
Yeah. Whenever you got a lot riding on this one, you're not experimenting with the claw grip. You are putting it
it's the way you've always
put it. Take a break. When we come back, a little bit more before the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light! Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here! Oh, Bud Light there! I missed that because of you! You did not miss that play because of me! Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah! It's actually kind of fun. Hey! I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind! Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
Artie, welcome back in. Glad you're with us. 17 minutes to the top of the hour here today on Longshore and McKnight. Great interviews with Jason Caldwell, Auburn 247, Rodney or the Tider Insider. If you missed them, no problem. You can check it out on your schedule and watch and or listen anytime, anywhere. It's up to you. So many, wherever you check out your podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, X, iTunes, whatever. We are there. Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com.
Real quick here, and I hope this is not going to be on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel coming up. Your immediate reaction to this weekend, and again, I do a lot of work on ESPN Plus. I've done hundreds of games on ESPN Plus. I think it's extraordinary. You get to watch anything. PGA Tour this weekend is going to be at the Rocket Classic.
Rocket Mortgage, I believe.
Yeah. And some who are predicting Jackson Coyven to go back-to-back. Yesterday, the PGA Tour announced that it will debut today, as a matter of fact. Check it out on ESPN Plus, a new announcer-free stream during this event. All 4 rounds of the Rocket Classic. Now, the PGA Tour Live is going to have the main coverage and the marquee group streams. You know, you can go on ESPN Plus and you can get every foursome that's out there, and you can follow them. That's been the case for a lot of them. But you get to watch the whole tournament just watching, like you were at the event. You're not at the Masters and you're hearing Jim Nantz over your left shoulder saying it's a tricky little turn on that.
Yeah.
Very
sad news. The Birmingham Stallions are no more. They're done. Yep, after 3 seasons, 3-time champions of the USFL, they will, as the article says, ride no more. They are
the
done.
USFL is officially moving. You knew it was going to happen. The owner, forget his name, his name's Mike somebody.
Yeah.
He said, look, we were always looking for franchises in smaller stadiums. Evidently, a 47,000-seat stadium was too big. They were thinking about the Hoover Met. They were thinking about Samford's Stadium. The UFL is officially moving the Birmingham Stallions. No word on where they're going to be moving to, but John, the question is a good trivia question. Has there been a major city in the United States that has tried and failed with more professional football franchises than Birmingham, Alabama? I say
Probably
no.
Not.
USFL, WFL, CFL, WLAF, UFL, whatever this thing was before the UFL. It was the USFL 2 and all that. It just ain't working.
No, it isn't.
But
Bears, you know as well as I do. The next league that pops up, Birmingham will be tops on the list.
I personally am thankful that Auburn played in the Birmingham Bowl against Houston that year, because there is probably a seat upstairs on the far left, as high as you can go and as far left as you can go, that if it wasn't for that game, that seat would have never been occupied. There are probably 100 or 200, other than the Garth Brooks concert. That place has never been filled.
No.
Ever.
No.
Well,
so they built it for UAB, and it'll never be filled. And, I know what people think, look, UAB is a great institution, great medical school, the whole deal, but their football program's never going to be able to duplicate what Auburn and Alabama are doing. They can try and kick and scream and talk about how great they are, but they're not.
Yeah.
And the same thing with professional football in Birmingham. An NFL team wouldn't work there for many reasons.
Daniel
there's not
says
big-time corporate ticket holders and license and suite buyers and things like that. NFL is all about corporate America. All those people you see in the stands, they really don't care about them. They're glad they're there, but it's all about corporate America in the NFL.
Daniel says, I wish the NFL would move a team to Birmingham and adopt the Stallions brand. Makes more sense than the Jags and Panthers where they are, JMO. Are you crazy?
Yeah, come on.
Are you nuts?
Not going to happen.
City in the state of Alabama. Birmingham. Give me a break. Coming up, Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic.
Yep.
Gurn McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
This summer, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is on a Jurassic hunt for the oldest HVAC systems and water heaters in town. If your system is a fossil, now's your chance. Replace it between June 1st and July 31st, and you could win big. We're giving $2,500 back for the oldest HVAC systems and $1,000 back for the oldest water heater. Even if you don't win, you still score major savings on your new HVAC system, water heater, generator, and or garage door. Don't let your systems go extinct. Call Dixie and it's done.
The more you play, the more chances you have to win during Diamond Days all summer long at Victoryland Casino. Win diamond jewelry and your share of $105,000 in free play. Also all summer long, it's TV Tuesdays. Win TVs and your share of $80,000 in free play. Giveaways galore all summer long. Diamond Days and TV Tuesdays with $185,000 in free play at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino off I-85 exit 22 Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here on a Thursday. Tomorrow, Barry and I will be at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. So we're looking forward to being out there. I'd love for you to come by and see us as well. Stivers Ford in Montgomery. And if you look at your calendar, it'll be the last day of the month, meaning Advantage U car buyer. They want to meet and exceed those monthly sales goals. How do they do it? Slashing prices to the absolute lowest, so they can certainly accomplish that.
Cannot ensure that there will be the level of suspense that there was last week when John was out and I was at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and the lady was able to unlock the door with 5 minutes until the top of the hour. John, I got connected and got on the air. What was it, Junior? About 3 seconds before we got going. I mean, I'm sliding in there, coming in hot. Just made it.
Yeah, I feel for you. I hear what you're saying. We're going to get that taken care of.
No. It was, I like a challenge. We made it, though. It was great. All right, back at it. Here we go. The Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, where the winning continues through what's left of July. That's for sure.
That is exactly right. Six big topics that we're going to go through today. We don't know what these topics are. We're seeing them for the first time as you are. Sponsored by our good friends at Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
Now, that Jimothy one, I already know what that one is. That's creepy as heck. I don't like it. All right, Fanatics. A guy with Alabama Crimson Tide championship ring on his head. LeBron James 76ers jersey is now out and on sale.
Ooh.
That is 2023, when Ohtani joined the Dodgers, led to massive jersey sales, but it ain't nothing compared evidently to LeBron James 76ers sale on Fanatics. That's where the title comes from. Fanatics has come up with that. It's online. And I'm looking for a number since Friday. 8 million. I guess there isn't a number, but it's in the hundreds of thousands, I would have to think. And immediately they are in the conversation as an NBA championship front runner.
Oh, certainly
for the first 48 hours, back down just a little bit. For the first 48 hours, it was on 24 hours. They sold more 76ers jersey in the first 24 hours than in the first week.
Sure.
When he was with the Lakers.
What's his number going to be?
23.
23, okay.
Yeah, he's been 8 before. This is his 4th franchise. If he wins a championship with Philadelphia, first player in NBA history to win NBA titles for 4 different schools. 4 different schools, 4 different franchises.
What's his contract terms? Is this a 1-year deal?
No, it's 2 years, $8 million. There are guys making NIL money this year more than LeBron James is getting with the 76. 2 years, $8 million. He's not going to be the primary player. He's not going to be the star player. He just wants to win a championship, one more, and then go out. I think this is his last contract.
Okay, all right. Well, good for him. Good for him. I'm not going to be buying one of those jerseys. I'm not a jersey guy, but hey, if you want a LeBron jersey, knock yourself out.
I've got 2 jerseys. I've got a Mark Brunell jersey, and I've got a DeMarcus Ware Dallas Cowboys jersey.
Oh,
I like those. All right, here we go. 2.
Here we go.
1 down. Couple more. Here we go. Fire it up.
Let's see what we got.
Crash and burn. I think we've had that topic titled.
Yeah, I think we have. Yeah.
Not Saint-like. Oh, is this Taysom Hill?
What do you? Yeah.
Yep. Taysom is not going to play for the Saints.
Yeah, that's
9 years.
That's tough.
One of my wife's favorite players. She loves the Saints. He didn't say he's going to retire, but he's going to go someplace where he might have a bigger role. Very famous. He is for his versatility.
Yep.
He's the only NFL player in the Super Bowl era to have thrown for more than 1,000 yards, rushed for more than 1,000 yards, more than 1,000 yards receiving. He is one of only 5 players to have at least 10 touchdowns in each category. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Matter of fact, Barry, that picture right there, I believe was when they wore that day. I believe it was.
Don't love the jersey.
Jets in December, and I think that was the game. That was their last home game. So that was his last home game as a Saint, I believe, last season. And he played multiple positions that afternoon. In the
special teams, he's always been one of the demon on special teams.
Even played a little quarterback that day.
I'd love to see him sign with like the Jaguars or somebody. Just a chance to play a little bit more. One more year. All right, back at it.
Good stuff. Yeah, here we go. 5 minutes to go. I think we can get it in. What do we got here? 4 more topics. Let's see what we got.
We're in good shape. We're in good shape. Crash and burn. John would have thought it would have been the Braves. Yeah, the Live Golf Tour is supposed to play in Michigan. It ain't.
No.
The Saudis, I think they lifted all their funding. I'm surprised they made it to this point. $40 million team championship. And that's going to be it for the season. And, John, that's going to be it for Live, right?
I think so. I think Live's played out. We're done. We're over. Move on.
We tried.
Hate it for you.
You do not. Not a bit. Not even the slightest.
I'm
never been the second Live event this year to just be flat out canceled, except this one was, the season finale and the team championship. It was a big deal. But it ain't happening.
It ain't a big deal. It's kind of like Major League. Barry, I've watched more Major League Baseball. Well, that's hard to.
Uh-oh. I think John's microphone just flipped out.
Even saying that, I haven't watched any Live.
I haven't watched it ever. I haven't watched I don't watch ESPN highlights anymore anyway. I just saw on the thing Martin Keimer is on the Live Tour because he had a quote, but I didn't even know they had anybody left on the Live Tour.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anyway,
so,
all right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hate it, Live. Sorry for you. All right, 3 to go. Let's see what we got.
He doesn't hate it for you, and he is not sorry for you. All right, this is Crazy Moves. This is Longshore at Nighttown.
That's right.
All right.
Move over, honey. Check this out.
Oh, yeah. UEFA is holding the emergency meeting. We mentioned this yesterday. FIFA has been a nonprofit organization. It's like the Red Cross or Life South.
Yeah.
They're not for profit, but they are thinking seriously about getting investors. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, a $20 billion company to run the major FIFA tournaments. With private investors. I think it's going to happen. I don't think it's the best thing. I kind of like it that it's nonprofit, but when money's involved, your bet needs to go to the entity that has the most money. And it's not like they're struggling or anything. They've been doing great.
Yeah.
And people want a piece of the pie, and they're going to do whatever they can to get their investment clause into it. There we go. All right.
About it. All right. 2 more to go. 2 minutes till the top of the hour. We can definitely do it. 2 to go. Blue and red, they seem to always pop up on
the red one's creepy. Let's not.
Well, I have no idea what this is. We're blue. We got the blue, but you still got my curiosity up.
Scooby-Doo. It's hideous. Okay.
Scooby-Doo
with a K. Oh, Tarek Skubal. Scooby-Doo, 1,000th career. Look, they lifted him. He was doing great against Kansas City, but they lifted him.
Ooh.
And it may be his last pitch as a Detroit Tiger. He
looks
is
a
a
little old,
two-time
Barry.
American League Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
And the Tigers are going nowhere. 1,000 career strikeouts, and they're going to trade him for somebody. Yeah.
Guy's taking up space. I mean, it's been nice, but time to move on.
Love to see him with the Braves. But then
really?
again, he'll probably end up with the Dodgers or the Mets or somebody. Here we go.
The Braves.
All right.
All right. So you got my curiosity here. I have no idea what
this
look. Last panel is.
Roll it, Gurn. Roll it.
Not sure what we got here.
It's Jimothy, not Timothy, not Jimmy. This is Jimothy.
Is this like
it is a genetic abnormality, which is tragic, I suppose.
Yeah.
But take a look at Jimothy. This is a raccoon with what's called short spine syndrome.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
His name, they call him Jimothy.
Yeah.
He's in Seattle.
It looks like he's got longer legs than a normal raccoon.
Yeah, well, his spine is too short.
Yeah.
He's got a short spine. Nickname him Jimothy. Okay. It's a regular old raccoon. He does raccoon things. It's just if I saw that thing around, you see raccoons at my house because I live on the water, and if that thing was out there when I'm taking out the trash at night or something like that, I would be freaking out.
They don't want to just go ahead and put old Jimothy out of his misery. I mean,
he's doing great. I mean,
I guess so.
Living large and all that. He just he's just a genetic.
And he says he's up in Seattle. Yeah, probably wouldn't like that too much. They'd probably have some people would protest in front of your house.
Okay, well there you go.
There you go. Now I know. Okay, now I'm educated. All right,
now you know.
Great episode today, if I do say so myself. Tomorrow we're at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Looking forward to that. I believe, and Theotis, get ready. Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, will join us tomorrow around 8:15. The Phantom said, sure, we'll make room for him. No problem. Yep. So we'll do that. So much other information we'll be talking about tomorrow as well.
For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News.